In this chapter, we're going to look at a couple of new concepts, but all of them are kind of organized around the idea of polymorphism. Let me write that out for you so you can see it spelled out if you've never seen it before. Polymorphism. The idea behind polymorphism is that when we have a superclass, we can have subclasses that inherit from that superclass, and those subclasses can have behaviors or methods. Those behaviors may be named the same, but they can perform different operations even with the same name. So one of the definitions of polymorphism is of many forms. And so the idea from biology is that one species can have many forms. And the concept in object-oriented programming means that subclasses of superclasses can have methods that have the same name but perform different tasks or in a different way, or don't do exactly the same thing when they're called. We're going to look at polymorphism in terms of the shape class and its two subclasses, rectangle and circle again. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a draw method for all three classes. And then we'll see how the draw method can be considered polymorphic. So we're going to begin first by going back to the shape class. And we'll add a definition for draw in here. Not that we're ever even going to implement it, but just in case. And all we're going to do is write some system out print statements saying, well, let's do coordinates. I was going to say position, let's say coordinates. And then we'll get X and a comma, and we'll get Y. And that will be good enough. So just simply when we call the draw method for a shape, it would say drawing shape at coordinates and whatever the X and Y coordinates of the shape are. So let's save that. Now, the draw method, of course, is different for each type of shape. A rectangle is not drawn the same as a circle. So let's look at how we might create the methods for those two. So let's go to rectangle first. So there's our definition. So we might write public void draw. We might write system out print line. Drawing rectangle at. And then we might say, let's do it like this. X. Let's get X. Plus, comma, Y. Close the quote. Let me get my cursor back where it needs to be. Let's get Y. Plus, let's drop down here to the next line. We're in a space. Width. Plus get width. Plus height. Plus get height. And let's make sure that works before we go any farther and do one for circle, just to make sure we didn't make any typographical mistakes. Those would be the only kind of mistakes we could make here. So let's compile rectangle. And it works. So now we'll do the same thing for circle. So let's close rectangle. So we might say something like, I believe I left public off the method definition for draw and rectangle, so we'll go back and fix that if I did. So we're going to write system out print line, drawing a circle at, and we'll see X plus get X, and then we'll do a comma and then a Y plus get Y, plus, and let's drop down to the next line, with radius of get radius. Okay, and close the definition. Let me go back and make sure I don't have any typos anywhere. Let's go back real quick and look at rectangle. Whoops, I don't mean to compile it, I meant to look at it. No, and I did call it public. All right, so there we go. All right, so we have three draw methods, one for shape, one for circle, one for rectangle. So in the next lesson, we're going to continue this discussion of polymorphism, and we're going to look and see, first in a test program, how draw differs when we call it for a circle object and a rectangle object. Then in the lesson after that, we're going to take the abstraction a step even further and write a program to where we're not even sure what type of object it is, but we're going to call the draw method for it and then see if it doesn't pick out the right method for that type of object. But first thing we want to do in the next lesson is check to see that our draw methods work. That's what we'll do next.